Girl, so let's talk about the act real quick. Now, this is not a new story to me. You know, I follow true crime. Actually, y'all probably don't know that because I don't talk about true crime on this channel. But I follow true crime pretty regularly. I keep up with it. I listen to a bunch of true crime podcasts, watch the documentaries, all of that. So the act, you know, the season 1 of the act, which is about Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Dee Dee Blanchard, the story wasn't news to me. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? Because I already knew, I was familiar with the case, is what I'm trying to say. But watching it play out, and again, I'm only 1.5 episodes in, but I'm gonna talk about the first episode. Watching it play out really has me shook. It has me on edge. It has me on edge. So it starts off with not a phone call to 911. I guess this is the neighbor, Lacey, maybe calling 911. It's either Lacey or Lacey's mama, Mel, calling 911 saying that, you know, we knocking on the door, the neighbor ain't coming to the door, something weird was on the Facebook. We all know, those of us familiar with the case, that Dee Dee Blanchard was found deceased because, girl, I'm sorry, y'all, wasps. It's a nice summery day. Dee Dee Blanchard was found because of a Facebook post. Somebody called the police, and you know, they went from there. I'm gonna come back in the house. I'm gonna go in the house. I'm gonna finish this in the house because the wasps. Okay, I gotta make this quick because I got this rigged up here. Dee Dee Blanchard was found basically because of a Facebook post, which honestly, I'm gonna have to get to the root of why they posted that Facebook post saying that Dee Dee was dead, because I feel like they would have gotten a little farther had the post not been made. But whatever, I'm gonna watch and see how the inner workings of what happened. So we flash back to an earlier time when Dee Dee and Gypsy Rose first moved into their new home that ended up being the place where Dee Dee was killed. They have like this fairy tale fantasy thing going on. I'm just a disembodied head. This fairy tale fantasy thing going on, and princesses and Care Bears, and it's a lot. You see Gypsy Rose sitting, look like in the kitchen sink, child. I don't know. She was probably in the bathtub, and I was half paying attention. But you see Dee Dee shaving her head, and it's like, huh? You know, with people who have chemotherapy and all of that, they don't have to shave. I mean, they lose their hair, they cut their hair, and it, you know, as they lose it, it's thin. You know, it falls out. It's thin. You have little patchy patches. This girl has just a clean shaven, bald head, and it's just like, oh well, you know, it didn't even look like that of someone who, and I guess because I'm watching them shave her head, it didn't look like that of someone who would have to have you know, cut their hair because of medication or whatever. It was weird. Then you see the feeding tube. That kind of stuff makes me very uncomfortable. I'm really just disembodied here. Let me scoot back a little bit. That kind of stuff. Maybe I need a booster seat, like, because I got the thing sitting up. Anywho, feeding tubes and stuff make me feel very uncomfortable. I don't. I'm squeamish when it comes to bodily. You know, I can do blood to an extent. Cannot do pus. Cannot do pus. Cannot do. I can, you know, I can deal with vomit. Prefer not to. Mucus, that kind of thing. No, it's a no. It's a big no for me. So I see the feeding tube and I'm thinking, oh, this fluid is going directly into her stomach, and it's. I hate it. I hate it. But you see the feeding tube. You see her injecting the food into the tube. The food going through the tube into her stomach. It was a lot. It was a lot. Then you see Dee Dee, I guess after she puts Gypsy Rose down for bed, she goes into a medicine cabinet, like a huge medicine cabinet with a whole bunch of medicine. She in there looking like, oh, this is just what I live for. Picks up a bottle of pills, reads it. It has Sleepy Baby written on it. She takes it, and I'm just like, okay, well, you know, go on to bed, I guess. Next thing we see is Lacey and Mel. Mel is just a regular, you know, single mother. in what seems to be a relatively small town. This is Wisconsin, right? I don't remember, but they seemed a little more. I know Dee Dee and Gypsy are Southern, but it seemed like Mel and Lacey were also very Southern, and that was weird to me. But yeah, Mel is just kind of like this down home, Southerny kind of single mom with her cut off jeans. She got a headache. She got a towel on her head. The kids are playing video games. Lacey comes in. She says, y'all take it outside or take it to your room. They go outside. Lacey talks to Mel about wanting to go meet the new neighbors. Mel already is like, I don't really, I don't feature that. I don't see for that. And she tells Lacey, just because you saw them on TV doesn't mean you need to meet them. And I was like, okay, is this kind of like a friendly neighbor thing, like Lacey is trying to make it seem, or is this, actually what Mel is trying to make it seem like, where she saw them on TV and she just kind of wants to meet a celebrity or meet someone she's seen on TV? That was weird to me. I was like, what? Where are we where are we going with this? Is she genuine in wanting to just meet the new neighbors? Or is this, oh, I saw y'all on TV. Let me come over and, maybe I'll be on TV too. I can sing, I can dance, ha-cha-cha, So I didn't know where we were going with that. And I'm still, I think I have an idea. I think that Lacey is genuine and it's just like, I want to meet the new neighbors. I'm friendly. But I don't know. I didn't even know Lacey and Mel existed, until I started watching this show. Because again, my knowledge of the show basically focused on Gypsy Rose, her boyfriend, and the mom. So I hadn't taken into consideration any of the neighbors, any of the police officers, detectives, any of that. So the doctors, nurses. So as we get into that, I'm going to be quite interested to see. So we see Lacey come over. She offers to give Gypsy, I'm going to call her Gyp. Saying Gypsy, I know that's her name, but it's also a slur towards, Romani people and people of the, dang, now I can't think of the actual word because I've said the G slur so many times. But anyway, I'm gonna call her Gyp. She comes over and offers Gyp a makeover, says that, she volunteers down at the hospital to give the sick kids makeovers and she needs to practice. Obviously, Gyp is like, yes, I would love. Dee Dee is like, I don't know, I guess. So they go on into the bathroom and Lacey is applying her makeup. Gyp is, admiring her. And it's a cute scene. It's very cute to me that, and it is not lost on me that Lacey and Gypsy are probably around the same age. Or is Gypsy might have even been a little older than Lacey at this point. I'm not sure exactly how old Lacey is, but I know she's a high school student. Gypsy should have been in high school around this time as well, I believe. Obviously she wasn't. She was at home with her mama all day. But it was just really cute to me to see, first of all, Gypsy have someone who seems to actually genuinely want to be her friend. And just to see her kind of look up to this girl. I looked up to a lot of people when I was younger, and most of them were very rude and mistreated me. And so I am hoping for Gyp's sake that Lacey isn't like that. But we'll see. We gonna see. But she's doing the makeup, and Gyp is like, oh, I love your necklace. And Lacey's like, oh, thank you. My boyfriend got it for me. And Gyp is just like, oh my gosh, you have a boyfriend? Like, it's just the highlight of her life, finding out Lacey has a boyfriend. Because again, this whole fairy tale thing, I guess she's got in her mind, like, I'm a princess, I need a prince, or something like that. Or just she's a teenage girl, and teenage girls are interested in, the sex of the person they're interested in. I don't want to just say boys, because we know, honey, that broad spectrums. But she's a teenage girl. She's interested in romance and relationships and that kind of thing. I personally wasn't, but I'm still not, and I'm grown. But it was really cute to me. She was getting her eyeshadow done. It was kind of the silverish, lilac-y, lavendery shade. It was cute. It was real legendary. She got a little bit of mascara on, and I think maybe a little bit of a lip. So she was kind of pulling a look, and it was cute. I can go on and on about that scene for a while, but I won't. But she does tell Lacey that she could walk when she was a baby, and she had a dad, but he didn't really want to be a part of her life after finding out she got sick. And, her dad used to make fun of the way she walked, and, it turned out she was ill or whatever. And all of that, with the knowledge that really wasn't nothing wrong with this girl, if we're being truthful. It just made me sick to know that, if Gyp's dad really just didn't want to deal with a sick child, her mom just basically severed this relationship between, I mean, it's horrible. It's horrible for a father not to want to deal with their child, especially in times of sickness or whatever like that. But knowing that the girl wasn't really sick and her mother just made her sick, made her be sick. And then the dad didn't want to be a part of that. Just, it's gross. Dee Dee was a gross person. She was gross. And you know, you don't want to say that people who have been murdered should have been, but if that was the way Gypsy needed to get out of that relationship, how else would she have been able to get free of this woman? How else? Dee Dee would have killed her. Anyway, so Lacey leaves. Gyp is in there with the makeup, feeling her beat, like, okay, I'm cute. I got on a little bit of something. I'm giving you, legendary looks. Oh, okay. Something outside started squeaking. I'm at the house by myself for the first time this year. First time in like 7-8 months. Because I don't get any alone time. It's so ugly. It's ugly. But, yeah, something squeaked outside, and I was like, oh, is it in here or out there? Because if it's in here, I'm going to be out there. But whatever. Where was I? Oh, she was feeling her beat, and her mom was like, all right, Gypsy, time to take your makeup off. And Gyp was like, girl, I'm legendary. I'm cute. I don't want to. Y'all really just cannot. I have shoulders. I have them. I just can't see it because of my setup. I was looking for my tripod, but cannot find it. But anyway, so her mother makes her wipe off her makeup, and Gypsy's like, well, girls wear makeup. And Dee Dee's like, but you're not like other girls. I'm like, but she has a face. Because you have decided that this girl is sick and she can't walk and her bones are made of glass and her skin is made of paper, don't mean she can't wear a bead. Let her put on a little piece. Just something. She makes the girl take off the makeup. She goes into this, I know you want to be like the other girls. She has this Cajun accent, and Patricia Arquette did a really good job. She did a decent job on that Cajun accent. It's not a super easy, accent to grasp for certain people. Certain people. I ain't gonna do too much on this one. But she did well. But she's like, I know you want to be like the other girls, but I like you special. And that was so creepy to me. That was so creepy. Knowing that, again, she has decided to make this girl sick. Just make her sick. Just make her be sick. Make her sick. Make her tell folks she's sick. All of this. And then she says, well, I like you special. Oh, chills. It was gross. It's gross. Let me see. Dee Dee goes over and meets the neighbors. I couldn't really get an understanding as to whether Mel and Shelly are like next door neighbors, best friends, in a relationship. I couldn't understand, because when Lacey came out earlier in the show, and told the boys to take it to their room or take it outside, I just assumed that the little black boy was one of the siblings. You know how it is. It's, families got the biracial sibling and then the full black or the full white sibling. I was just like, oh, okay, well, you got the mixed baby and the white brother, and they brothers. But then we saw Shelly. Shelly is a black woman, and of course I've introduced you to Mel, and they're sitting out on the porch together, and every time we see Shelly in this episode, she and Mel are like together on the porch or in the yard, they're together. So it's like, do they live together? Are they best friends who live together? Are they in a relationship? It really doesn't pertain to the story. I don't think it matters, but it was interesting to see, because they just have Shelly here. Who is she? Who is Shelly? But anyway, Dee Dee goes over and introduces herself to Mel and Shelly. You can see immediately that Mel is just kind of like, hey, Lacey and her boyfriend are washing a car, and Gyp is, sitting in her chair, obviously watching them wash the car and engaging in conversation, and it's just taken by this relationship and taken by, these normal teenagers, and they're nice to me. I have friends, what seems to be friends, and oh my gosh, she's just kind of like, oh, like she's wide-eyed and she's leaning forward in her chair and she's watching, and I'm like, oh, Gypsy, I love you. Like, I love her. And then you see Dee Dee on the porch introducing herself and talking about Gypsy's illnesses. And, you know, then we see Lacey offer Gypsy a Coke. Gypsy takes it into her hand. Dee Dee turns, she sees Gypsy taking the Coke into her hand, and she just shrieks, "No, she can't have that. She's allergic to sugar. Even, you know, she might be able to take a sip, but a whole Coke will kill her." And it's just like, well, Gypsy didn't seem too concerned. She didn't really seem worried about it. So, you know, I feel like even at this point she knew, like, I don't think I'm as sick as my mama's making me out to be, because if she thought she would die, or maybe she just wanted to die. Maybe she just wanted to die because she was finna take a sip of the Coke. And if I think, you know, the Coke is gonna kill me, unless I'm ready to go up yonder to be with my Lord, I'm not gonna take a sip of the Coke. Dee Dee comes, snatches the Coke, gives it back to Lacey, or throws it over to, I don't know. The Coke disappears. She's like, "How much did she have? I have to take her to the emergency room." And they like, "She didn't even have none. She was just holding the can." And, you know, Lacey apologizes, and Dee Dee's like, "It's okay, you didn't know," and takes her right on back across the street. And I'm like, well, if she's not sick, if she didn't have a sip, why can't she just continue to hang out with the I don't know. It's beyond me. But Dee Dee takes her back in the house and isolates her once more from her peers. Oh, I forgot to mention, when she was talking about all the sicknesses, she said Gyp had her salivary glands removed. I didn't even know you could do that. My salivary glands get inflamed a lot, which is why sometimes my face looks fuller, because right here swells. And it hurts. It hurts so bad, y'all. I really hope none of y'all ever have salivary issues. But I was like, you can get them taken out. But then I was thinking, that's what makes your saliva. So if I get them taken out, am I going to be able, is my mouth going to be constantly dry? Because it's already dry all the time anyway. I feel like it would be worse. So I think I'm going to keep mine. But I didn't know you could have them removed. Then she goes on to say epilepsy, paraplegia, heart murmurs, some other diseases. And I'm just like, girl, none of those are really life-threatening. Like, you just calling up a bunch of names that, you know, my grandmama has had a heart murmur for 60 years. She fine. She all right. The heart just murmurs. My heart palpitates in weird ways. My mom's does. I think it just kind of runs in the family, and we all right. Paraplegia isn't really life-threatening. You just can't move. Like, she can't get up and two-step. That's fine. Epilepsy can be life-threatening, but also most cases of epilepsy, you be all right. You know, you're usually all right. So it's just all of this, and it's just so, I don't know. It was on my nerves. Anyway, Mel's hair was so Jennifer Aniston, Rachel from Friends, but done at home. Like, the cut was like, I really want to look like Rachel from Friends, but I don't have the money to go to the salon, so I'm just going to chop my hair. It really got on my nerves. I was like, Mel, sweetie, your daughter does makeup. Can she not? Maybe that's not her ministry. Maybe she's the one who did her mama's hair, and that's why I look like that. But I just couldn't take, it was not blended in any way. In any way. They cut the front at a 180 and the bike at a 90. It's just incorrect. Actually, they cut the back at a 45. Yeah. Those of you who don't cut hair have no idea what I'm talking about. But those of you that do, the back looked like it was cut at a 45. Then they took the top all the way up to 180. So it was just, there was no blending. There was no blending. Zero. No, yeah, 180. Yeah. Whatever, girl. I'm tired. I didn't sleep well. So the sugar allergy also struck me as strange, because at some point, you know, they showed her getting Pediasure and pizza, and I'm like, well, I mean, I know Pediasure or Pedialyte, I'm sure they make it sugar-free now, but it's generally not a sugar-free drink. Pizza, bread turns to sugar. If she had a genuine sugar allergy, wouldn't she be allergic to bread too? It was weird. Maybe I'm mistaken on that. Maybe it's like sugar from the sugar cane versus the sugar that bread turns into. Maybe it could be different. I know it's different, but maybe the allergy could be different. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, that struck me as weird. It was really weird. Like, what does she eat? What does she eat? Lettuce? Romaine? It was terrible. Anyway, So they go down to the mall because Gypsy was sad that she got whisked away from her friends, and so Dee Dee's like, we're gonna do something tomorrow that will make both of us smile. So they go down to the mall, and you know, they looking at all the stuffed animals and the princesses and the pink things and the fa la 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 la. Gypsy sees the necklace that the boyfriend, Lacey's boyfriend, got her, and is like, Mom, can I get that necklace, please? And the mom is like, the blue one? You know, we do pink. I'm not sure about the blue one. And she's like, yes, I love it so, please. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, they're gonna buy her this necklace. Child, Gypsy said, no one's watching. Y'all finna mop the necklace? Girl, they mopped the necklace. And I'm like, I personally am not the type of person who sees someone in a wheelchair and stares. But in a crowded mall, you really think ain't nobody looking at your bald-headed daughter in the wheelchair? And I don't mean to sound crass, but I'm saying it like that because this girl genuinely was not sick. She wasn't. Dee Dee just made it out to be that. You don't think anybody is looking at your daughter in this wheelchair? Y'all was on TV a couple days prior. Like, nobody looking at. But anyway, she scoots back, you know, scoots her chair back and kind of covers while Dee Dee puts the necklace in the bag, or in the wheelchair, in a bag in the wheelchair. In the meantime, Mel is walking through the mall. She's standing up on, you know, the upper level at the mall. Sorry, the air conditioner went off and I sounded loud to myself. And she looking down at Dee Dee putting the necklace in the bag, and she's like, no good. And I'm like, now, I'm a judgmental girl from time to time. Like, sometimes I am judgy. But stealing at the mall, I don't judge. Especially when it's someone who I know probably doesn't have just a lot. Like, if I saw Dee Dee Blanchard and Gypsy Rose Blanchard at the mall, and, you know, they just recently got this Habitat for Humanity house, and they live in the same neighborhood that Mel and them live in, and Mel don't look like she got a lot of money. You know, if I saw her put something in her bag at the mall, I'd be like, all right, girl, I see you mopping. But I wouldn't be like, this heifer is no good. Mel had this face like, I will never see it for you. And they locked eyes, and it was like, I will never. You know, the energy was just like, I knew from jump you was trash, and I'll never see it for you. And I was just like, ugh. I mean, I understand you not seeing it for her because she is trash, but over stealing a necklace at the mall, girl. Everybody done stole. I stole a Band-Aid from Walmart when I was little. It was a glow-in-the-dark Buzz Lightyear Band-Aid. I had never seen a glow-in-the-dark Band-Aid before. And I was like, oh, this is legendary. And I took one out the box, and I took it right home with me. And I told my mom, and she was upset. But I got to keep the Band-Aid. I mean, I had worked for it. Anyway, plus I don't think I told my mama I still had the Band-Aid. I was just like, I took a Band-Aid. It was a couple days later. I took a Band-Aid from Walmart, and I just feel so bad. I was so honest. I still am very honest. Like, if I steal, I'll tell you I stole. I'll reach into your purse, take your wallet, and be like, hey girl, I stole your wallet. Like, I will. Anyway, moving along. Mel and Shelly are talking about Casey Anthony, and I'm like, oh God, there was so much going on in 2005. You know, it was a lot. 2004, 2005 was just a big year for Nancy Grace. It was a big year. She could buy all the hairspray she needed for her hair because she was getting paid, because she was talking about all the cases. We see Gypsy, I guess, Dee Dee was next door with the neighbor. I don't know where Dee Dee was, but we see Gypsy get on, or no, she was in the garden, because she wanted to go across the yard and talk to Mel, because she felt like, you know, Mel saw her stealing and she kind of wanted to make it look like Gypsy was stealing. And I'm like, but she watched you put the thing. But she went over there and she was like, you know, Gypsy she doesn't have much, and sometimes she takes things. And Mel was like, but girl, I watched you do it. I'm like, what kind of nonsensical lie? I watched you steal it. Anyway, so while she's over there talking to Mel, Gypsy is in the house. She's got her mom's laptop and she's Googling best friend. And I'm like, oh, my baby, my poor baby. Poor thing. She's lonely. And then she, you know, Googles another set of words. She Googles boyfriend kiss. And I'm like, oh, my poor baby. This poor unfortunate soul, as Ursula said. Like, she is so by herself. She's so alone. And it's all because her mama's crazy. So, she hears her mama coming back. She deletes the browser history, girl, and closes that laptop back up, puts it right back where she got it, and it's like, hi, mommy. How are the neighbors? Was Lacey there? How's it going? And her mom is none the wiser. The mom is like, oh, I just really, I'm too poor. I'm too, wiped out to cook. I just really don't feel like it. And Gypsy's like, well, let's have, pizza. Pizza always cheers you up. And Dee Dee's like, well, I guess we could swing it. So they order pizza. We next see pizza in the blender with the Pediasure or the Pedialyte or the Pedia, whatever, the little Pedia Neon Go, being blended up. And I was like, oh, gross. And then once again, we see the feeding tube and we see the food going through the tube into the girl's stomach. And it makes me uncomfortable. It makes me very uncomfortable. They're having a conversation about, how Dee Dee may have made a poor impression on Mel, and Gyp is like, well, everybody likes you. Let's have a party. And she says, well, make your famous gumbo. Everybody loves your gumbo. And I'm like, gumbo? I'm there. I will be there. I'll be there. Anybody having gumbo, girl? I'm on my way. What time? Where it's gonna be? Gumbo? Absolutely, sure will. Even if I swing by just to show my face and get a plate, I'm coming over. Gumbo? Yes, God. But that's because I too am Cajun. So we throw the party. Gypsy is sitting with a bunch of children. They're like ages 5 to 11. She was so bored. The kids are just running around her chair. They got balloons. Dee Dee comes over and is like, look, Gypsy, a balloon. Gypsy's like, girl, I guess we, she didn't even want to be a part of this. After a while, honey, she tells the kids to go on about their day, and she scoots over to Lacey and Lacey's boyfriend. They're hanging out, having a good time. They welcome Gypsy with open arms. Gyp, hey girl, come on over. So she comes over, they chat for a while, and then they're getting ready to go to the movies. Gyp asks, can she go? And Lacey's like, ooh, with the type of mama you got, no. Just, no. Your mama's not going to let you go. And that's the truth. So once again, Gyp is alone. She's at the party. She sees some cupcakes. And this is when I start to think, maybe she just wants to die. Maybe because immediately following the rejection of not being able to go be with friends or even, form the friendships, she's just like, cupcakes, sugar allergy, cupcakes. She's weighing her options, and she's like, I'm gonna do it. She gets a cupcake. I guess she takes a little nibble. Next thing you hear is Dee Dee going, Gypsy, no! And, smacks the cupcake out of her hand. I've got to take her to the emergency room. Stabs her in the thigh with the EpiPen. Takes her on to the emergency room. You see Gypsy sitting in the hospital room, and you kind of hear like a wah, wah, wah kind of thing while the doctor and Dee Dee are talking outside the room, in hushed tones. So I guess Gypsy won't hear, which, if you follow the case, Dee Dee's claim was that Gypsy had the intelligence of a 7-year-old. So I don't see why they couldn't have all the conversations they needed to have around her. Well, 7-year-olds are pretty smart. Whatever. Anyway, they're outside the room, and you hear kind of a wah, wah, wah kind of thing going on. So we, the audience, can't hear what Gypsy is saying, and we expect that Gypsy can't hear what's being said either. But that's not the case, and I'll get there in a little bit. They're coming out the hospital. Mel is out there, because when they rushed off, Shelly was like talking about Dee Dee, saying that woman has been beaten down, and she's been through it, and blah blah blah. And I guess that kind of gives Mel a little bit of a change of heart or a different perspective about Dee Dee. So she goes down to the hospital, and Dee Dee's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, well, you left in such a hurry, you left your wallet, and I wouldn't want you to get pulled over without any identification. And it's kind of a touching moment, but it also made me wonder, did she go in the woman's house and get her wallet and take it to, where was her wallet? Was it just sitting out at the party? Where was the wallet? Anyway, at some point, Dee Dee tells Mel that she got in some trouble back in Louisiana, bad checks, blah, blah, blah. And Mel tells Dee Dee that, at some point her ex-husband or her ex-boyfriend, the kid's dad, decided to leave her and took the kids too, and she did a bunch of stuff she wasn't proud of. She didn't say what the stuff was. She said she wasn't ashamed, but she wasn't, blasting it all over the place. And so they kind of had a bonding moment about criminal activity. And I'm like, well, why was you so mad that she was stealing at the mall? I don't know. So Mel kind of calls like a truce. She doesn't actually say out loud, but you can kind of feel the energy shift. And it's like, all right, I'm going to be nicer to her. She got a lot going on. We skip ahead to June 14th, 2015 at 9:01 p.m. which is where the episode actually started. It started before 9:01. 9:01, I guess, is when the police arrived on the scene. You have the police go into the house after, the detective has received a warrant. An officer goes into the house, or a couple officers, they looking around. They go into Gypsy's room. They see someone, or, a silhouette or a body-shaped figure in the bed in Gypsy's room. And, you pull back the covers thinking, well, it's not going to be Gypsy. Is it going to be stuffed animals? What is it going to be? But nope. It is Dee Dee laying face down, stabbed up. Face down with her back just open, girl, stabbed. And it was gross, but still did not make me as uncomfortable as the feeding tube. I've done a little bit of stage makeup, and I can look at stab wounds and be like, oh, fake ones, not real. If I see a real open wound, baby, I'm hitting the floor. Hitting it. But on TV, I can see the stab wound and just be like, oh, well, I've made a couple of those myself. But that feeding tube thing, whatever happened to the days when I was a girl, they would allude to a feeding tube. They would have a tube going up under her shirt, but they showed the actual port in her stomach. And I know it's not actually going into the little girl's belly, but no, God, no. So before, it takes us back a little bit. We heard Dee Dee telling Shelly and Mel that she had a gree-gree, which is basically a good luck charm. And she wanted to pass it down to Gypsy. So they show her putting some checks and taking off her necklace, her gree-gree, putting it in a bag and going to bed. And she went to bed at 10:02. At 10:56, she's still asleep, but the camera pans over to Gyp, and Gyp is laying in the bed. She's got her, mask on. She's got an apnea, a CPAP machine, and, she's just giving the girls alien because the girl's not sick. That's the thing. All the jokes I make are based on the fact that this girl is not sick. 10:56 a.m. or p.m. I should say. She takes off her mask. She sits up, and I already know where this is going. She swings her legs over the side of the bed, and then you see her put her feet on the ground. You see her kind of move her foot around, stretch it, pop it, break it. And then you see her walk into the kitchen. She just takes a leisurely stroll into the kitchen. And it's just like, how long have you known you can walk? It's like that movie Easy A, which is the last Emma Thompson movie I ever saw. She has a little brother in the movie. It's a white family. The brother is black. And the brother is like, well, I'm adopted. Because they were like, we're late bloomers in the family. He's like, what does that mean to me? I'm adopted. And the dad slams and goes, who told you? That's how I felt about Gypsy. Like, who told you could walk? I mean, I guess if you could feel your legs. That's the thing that's so crazy to me. I mean, I understand Munchausen by proxy, and they go to a bunch of different doctors for a bunch of different things, and to get their way. But if you are paralyzed from the waist down, as Gypsy was supposed to be, when you're in the hospital, every now and then the doctor's going to come by and, do the pen test with your foot, run the pen along the ball of your foot, or, thump you a couple times. And it's almost, it is for most people involuntary when the bottom of your foot, the pen is running up and down the bottom of your foot. You going to wiggle. It tickles. How was she getting away with this paraplegic lie? Weird. So weird. But anyway, Gypsy girl, she gets up, strolls on down to the kitchen, opens the refrigerator. I'm like, Lord, what is finna go on? She gets the whipped cream. I said, Gypsy. Now, obviously I know she doesn't have this allergy, but I don't know if she knows. So I'm like, again, are you trying to die? What are we doing? So she gets her EpiPen, so I guess she wasn't trying to die. She takes the cap off, puts it on the counter. She takes the whipped cream, puts it in her hand, And I'm like, so if you do have the allergy, how are you going to explain to your mother that you had an allergic reaction in the kitchen, but your wheelchair in the bedroom? What do you say? What do you say? She takes the whipped cream, sprays it on her finger, takes a bite, doesn't die, doesn't even get sick, stretches a little bit, you know, does a little yoga, little woo, woo, you know, a little something, and goes on back into the bedroom. Just leisurely strolls back into the bedroom. And the mama, Dee Dee, is sitting upon the side of the bed, watching Gypsy just walk back in the room. Gypsy obviously looks like a deer in headlights. She's just like, surprise, you know, I can walk, it's a miracle. Dee Dee doesn't even acknowledge the fact that this girl is on her feet. She just says, get into bed. If my paralyzed, okay, we have someone in the house who is actually unable to walk and, you know, from the waist down, paralyzed. If she just strolled in this room, she's not home now, so that would make it even more alarming. But if she were home and she just walked in here and was like, what's up? Hey, I would be like, girl, your chair, your wheelchair's over there. You're walking. I would be genuinely surprised if my relative just walked in the room. I would be like, what? What? But Dee Dee is just like, get into bed. I mean, she said it with like a bit of a, like she was annoyed that Gypsy was up walking around. She put her back in the bed. I mean, Gypsy just walked back over to the bed, climbed in like a regular, just boop, let me get in. And Dee Dee put the mask back on her and laid back down. And I was like, astounded. I was so shocked by it, by all of it. Let me see. So yeah, that's basically the whole first episode. That's it. She put her back in the bed, and that was that was it. I was like, I have never seen a miracle before my very eyes that I didn't marvel at. But Dee Dee was just like, girl, if you don't get back in the bed, you are paralyzed. Get off of those paralyzed legs. Get in. It was really weird to me. Anyway, this is the act. I'm gonna try to get through the whole season. Y'all know I'm in and out. I'm flaky. So I'll try to see y'all for episode 2. We just don't know. Like, comment, subscribe, and all the things the other YouTubers say, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.